a little bit more bite down boxing. This isn't really me complaining. This isn't really me trying to tell you what I know, and what your question. You know, sometimes I'm just asking the question. I struggle. I mentioned earlier on the stream, I just kind of struggle with Canelo Alvarez being viewed as the face of boxing, the undisputed face of boxing. And that and people, a lot of the major outlets try to report on Canelo like the sport needs him. I think it's a mixture. You know, I really think it's a mutual need. So what I'm seeing here, I mentioned earlier with the WBC, are they delivering Canelo Alvarez to somebody? And is he really the face of boxing? Because I think what we'll learn tonight, provided that he gets past Callum Smith. So the article was out there on Boxing Rec that Canelo spoke to the athletic and to boxing scene. And with the WBC Super Middleweight title being up for grabs tonight, part of that, part of the deal is that the winner must face Avni Yildirim in within 90 days or risk being stripped. Now, we just watched Canelo do all of this. Wherever you were with watching that, we just watched him go through all this maneuvering to be a free man. And some of us got excited that with that freedom, with that autonomy and being neutral in terms of a broadcast partner or whatever, he could conceivably face PBC guys. He can face top-ranked guys in a Berterbiev, who I never see him fighting, or he can face the Euro guys and BJ Saunders and we're getting Smith. So some of us were all invested in internet tripping. So anyway, so he's done all of this to be free, but now it comes back with this would happen in February. I've said this before. Nothing happens in boxing unless a fighter has to do it or some of them want to do it. Used to be in the, earlier eras, a fighter would want to do something. You saw Floyd when people said that Maidana, that he did good against him. And Floyd was like, oh, but we'll run it back then. He wanted to do that. Sometimes we see guys that need to do something. That's the only way that things get done in this game. But so he comes back and tells the athletic and boxing scene that, yeah, I'd be willing to come back and fight on 2 months' notice and return in February to take on Avni Yildirim. One, this tells you that he doesn't think much of Avni Yildirim. He doesn't see much of him being much of a challenge. But the thing is, he still, and then we also see that he lost money this year because he had to go through being sat down with the DAZN situation in the pandemic. He wasn't able to earn money. Now he's got to come back and make up for that. So, and then the other thing moving forward is he wants to get back on his Canelo calendar of fighting in May and September on Mexican Independence Weekend. I don't knock him for any of that. But what I'm saying is this, how does that get paid for? And when we talk about this is the face of boxing, so let me go back, because it was a similar situation with Wilder. For Wilder Ortiz too, for that rematch. And then with the Fury fight being out there in the future. Was it Brazil or Ortiz? Anyway, Showtime was like, nah, cost too much for us. We're out. We're not interested. Fox came in. I think it was the Ortiz 2 rematch. Fox comes in and pays for it, and then they go ahead and get the Fury fight. Yeah, that's what happened. So again, here with with Canelo and with Canelo and this Yildirim fight, who's gonna pay for it? So I'm saying my question was, does this either give Showtime a chance to get back involved in if they want to get involved, or here comes DAZN again, like, and our relationship continues. They might be willing to pay for that. But my question is, and the reason why Showtime had to make their decision with parting ways with Deontay Wilder, you get to the same, looking at the situation and the money with the cost. You get to looking at the cost with Canelo Alvarez. What can you really get for Mexico? What's the return on in getting involved with Canelo when he says he's the face of boxing? What can you cash in if you're a network or you're going to stream it or broadcast it? What's the payoff for you to be involved in that business? So basically, it comes back to Mexican Americans, most likely, and sells, what do they call that? Geo-blocking with the streaming and whatnot. And it goes to prove how ignorant we are in this country, that we're sitting here willing to pay the bill. We're willing to sit here and pay the freight on all of this bullshit. Because you can't sell a pay-per-view in Mexico for what you'll sell it for in America. You obviously know that. So somebody would have to say, okay, we're going to overpay you significantly. We're going to overpay you a whole lot to get you so that we can air Yildirim. And then we get in May, either May 8th is when that fight would be. And then we're going to get you against whoever our big name is. If you're Showtime, you got to fight Charlo. And the TV partner or the broadcast partner has leverage here, whether it be Charlo or whether it be DAZN with Triple G. That's the deal. We pay you for the Yildirim fight, and then in the next fight, you got to fight our guy. That's how it goes down. You saw when DAZN made this first deal, they didn't have any say. We learned later on they didn't have much say in who he fights. They would be stupid to do that again. The other interesting thing here is just like Gilberto Ramirez last night. He went out here with his own Ramirez Promotions and ends up fighting with, Fight TV, I believe, is who took care of the streaming for it. What were those numbers? How did that affect, Ramirez accepted all the risk here with not having the big name partners involved, to pay the freight. So what I'm saying here with testing out if Canelo is really the face of boxing, does he go and do it on his own? Not with DAZN. Does he go and do it on his own, independent, completely independent? He don't want to do that. Eddie Reynoso being his manager now, I think, they don't want to get involved in all of that. They want somebody to come in with all of the infrastructure in place, with all of the administrative stuff taken care of, and you just want to sign a deal and get it over with. So what I said earlier, with me struggling to really look at him as the face of boxing, he kind of needs boxing just as much as everybody else. If he was more of a Mexican American, if he was more an American Mexican versus being a Mexican who lives in America. I think he lives in San Diego. And he's English speaking. He has some kind of roots here, or like an Oscar De La Hoya. He fought on the U.S. Olympic team or whatever. It's more for him he has more leverage. But with him sitting here being who he is and where he's from, nobody is doing whatever he says do to make money off of Mexico. If that's the pot that we have to split up after the fact, nobody's bending over backwards to help him out to make money out of Mexico. They just don't have the economy. They just don't have the discretionary income to make it worth it. So, similar to Showtime and Deontay Wilder, somebody's got to come in and help and figure it out what they're going to do with them. And I would imagine that this WBC, and that's the other option. Like I said, he either goes independent and does it, the February fight with Avni Yildirim. You agree to a deal with Showtime, or you agree to a deal with DAZN, or you just dump this belt that you just picked up and just be the WBA and I guess Ring Super Middleweight champion. I guess that's his option. Or I mentioned this earlier, or I guess the WBC could get involved for a second time with the same issue and elevate him to franchise champion at super middleweight, and then Avni Yildirim goes away. And then conceivably Canelo can keep his promotional freedom to go do about whatever he wants to do. So that's kind of the options. Again, this is the interesting side of, and maybe not even interesting to some, maybe it's the corrupt side of boxing, but it's just interesting that the WBC is kind of intervening and is going to play a role in where this dude heads to next. So like I said, this whole face of boxing, he's this, I don't see it that way. Yes, he's a major figure because he has a country behind him. He has, but he doesn't have the best country behind him. You'd be better off probably having the UK behind you than having Mexico behind you. If you're talking about being one of the superpower, one of the independent, one of the faces of boxing, you'd probably be better off having the UK behind you than to wave around while I bring Mexico to the table. No knock against Mexico. Like I said, they just have a different economy down there. In my day-to-day job, I'm involved with some stuff from Mexico a little bit more, and it's just the reality of the situation. Showtime, this brings them to the table. Do you want to get back into the Canelo Alvarez business? And what's the payoff in being his TV partner? Like I said, you got the guy to fight him. You got Jamal Charlo. And I can understand. That's the thing with us here. Again, it's us idiots that are sitting here willing to pay anything. I'm not paying to see Canelo Alvarez face anybody other than Jamal Charlo, Benavidez. I probably pay to see Benavidez, and I'd probably pay to see him fight Beterbiev. I'd have I'd probably pay for that one. Other than that, I'm not going to do similarly to my stance on Errol Spence Jr. I'm not paying to see Errol Spence Jr. face anybody but Terrence Bud Crawford. Even to see Pacquiao against Errol, if I can't go to the movie theater to check it out, I'll probably just sit it out. I'm really on shit about my money like that. My house note just went up $300 a month, my mortgage. Some bullshit with the bank. I'm not giving people my money just because I feel like I have to give it to them. I can't do it no more. The bank just screwed me over. So I gotta use more discretion with my money. I'm not paying to see none of these guys fight who they want to fight. If it don't make sense to me, I just sit it out. No big deal. Deontay Wilder wanted to tell me he had there was a discrepancy with the Luis Ortiz fight. I'm going to go fight him again. I'm going to give him a rematch. However he wanted to spin it. But he said it was a discrepancy in the first fight. I don't have no discrepancies. I don't accept any discrepancies being on my record. I'm going to go fight the man again. Give me $75 to watch me do it. Nah, bruh. I ain't giving you nothing to do it. I saw it the first time. I'm good with it. Wasn't no discrepancy for me. Errol Spence Jr. against Danny Garcia. I give you some credit. There was some intrigue there on what version of Errol Spence Jr. we would see on Fight Night. Was that enough intrigue for me to give you 75? Give them $75? Fox Sports, Fox pay-per-view? Not really. I'm gonna come on here and listen to somebody talk about it, or I'm gonna read about it. You know, I see what Ring had to say. I see what ESPN had to say. I see what Boxing Scene had to say, and you know, I just miss it. I just miss it. If I can't go to the movie theater, I'm not paying for none of this stuff. And this is what, to close this out, this is what's killed me about a lot of the flagrant hatred towards DAZN. And I'm not trying to really defend DAZN, but what I'm saying is somebody step forward with a viable way for fight fans, for boxing fans to watch the sport. And Americans, a lot of Americans want to just sit here and scoff at it. We want to continue to pay $80 4 to 6 times a year for subpar fights. We're willing to pay $80 a year, $80 4 to 6 times a year for shit that you want to give us. You told us this fight was important. I don't really know why it's important. It's important because I want to be on YouTube Sunday morning arguing with 50 dudes about what I saw. Or I want to be on YouTube Sunday morning telling you how great the guy is that I knew was great when he agreed to fight this fight that was like 70-30, 80-20. And because the guy that I like won the fight and won it in dominant fashion, I'm pleased. That's what we pay $75 for right now. I can't really justify that. I can't really justify that. So anyway, the WBC is interesting. Like I said, seeing them sitting here getting involved, mixing stuff up. That's interesting. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, let me get on off of here, man. I see Northwestern with this 10-3 lead over the Buckeyes. This is why I look bad for Harbaugh, man. He can't even figure out a way to even compete for a quarter against Ohio State. And here it is, Northwestern of the Big Ten is sitting here at least being competitive for what, a quarter and a half now, or for multiple possessions. What quarter is this? That's crazy. Anyway, let me get on off of here, man. Peace.